This was my trip to France and Italy. It's kind of special because today's stage of the Tour de France begins and ends in Toulouse, where we landed. And what's incredible is how close they let you get to the tour. I've never experienced anything like that. And that, I think, is the beauty of travel. And for me, it started when I was 7 years old. That was the first trip I took on a plane. My aunt lived in Bermuda, my dad's sister, and she wanted Dad to bring the family to visit. So we did. And I remember the day we left, it was raining, and we were boarding a Pan American 747 jumbo jet. And I looked at that. How is this thing going to get off the ground? And it's raining. I just was scared. And we got on the plane. I remember our seats were way in the back, on the right, and Mom sat me on the window seat. And I looked out and saw the rain and all the movement, and I just pushed the window shade down. I wanted to hide. But when the plane taxied and took off, it was really, really bumpy. And I was just panicking, like holding my mom's hand tight. But all of a sudden, as if the plane just calmed down. It was no longer bumpy. It just smoothed out. And it felt calm and at ease. And I noticed in the cabin, it was getting brighter. And I could see outside the other windows, there was light outside. So I raised my window shade and looked out. And, Mom, what's happening? What is this? Where'd the rain go? And she said something that ended up being extremely profound for me. She said, "Oh, the rain's down below us. We're just up above the clouds, where it's like this all the time." And to a 7-year-old, that it was hard to grasp. How are we above the rain? But that experience shaped my understanding of travel at 7 years old. Because it wasn't until I was a freshman in college that I took my next plane ride. I had a good friend that lived in Hawaii. And that summer, after our freshman year, he said, "You should come spend summer with us." And I thought about it. My dad said, "Well, I'll buy your ticket. You figure out what you're going to do once you get there." And that solidified my love of travel, to see the Hawaiian Islands, to see the blue skies and the sandy beaches. And it was just incredibly eye-opening for me. And that led to, I want to say, maybe 9 different countries that I visited the remainder of my college years. I saw major cities. I saw a lot of poverty. I saw very remote places in Africa. And I experienced communist Europe when the Iron Curtain was still in place. And one experience that just blew me away. Our guide had set up a meal with a national family. And in that time, it was illegal for any citizen to host a Westerner in their home. They could face imprisonment or severe punishment. And our guide said, now keep in mind that this meal is a very big deal to them, and it's probably going to cost them a month's wages. But hospitality is so important to our people. Please eat everything, and please comment graciously. Which wasn't a problem, because it was an incredible, moving meal. I don't even remember what we were eating. I do remember we needed an interpreter to decode the language, but we didn't need an interpreter to tell us what hospitality meant to them around the table. That was very clear, very obvious. And when I came home from that experience, someone asked, boy, makes you thankful for what you have in this country, doesn't it? And I said, well, I'm not sure. I experienced people that had less physical resources than I did, but they sure seemed to have a whole lot more and were generous to a fault. And that's a picture of 7-year-old me climbing above the rain, getting up to a place where I can see the world differently. And I see a world that, yeah, it's harsh, and there's war, and there's conflict. But if I don't see the beauty of the people that express their humanity despite all of that, then I'm just going to get stuck below in the rain. And I think it's so important for all of us to get out of our experience, get out of our day-to-day and look in to see the different part of the world. And I do that now, and I keep record of it. This is how we used to do it. Used to do it in these big clunky photo albums where you took your photo and had it developed, and then you mounted it on these pages and kept them in these spiral ring binders, but the memory is captured. Now we can do it online, and so Italy, Nicaragua, Harlem, New Orleans, food travels during COVID, Ireland and Iceland, and so on. So, why travel? One, why not? Because the world is inviting you to see it differently. And if I don't accept that invitation, what am I going to miss out on?